evening and welcome to your Thursday, March 28, 2024 edition of the Evening News. I am Gerald Bryan. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Head of Guyana's Major Crimes Unit detained and questioned by U.S. authorities at JFK. Government defends importation of labor, assures their wages will not exceed public servants. Utter ignorance. RPA on EPA's call for rice farmers to stop burning fields. Legal icon, retired Justice Désirée Bernard dies. Ford to challenge Norton for PNC leadership. MAHIPAUL signals interest. And Guyana prepared to defend ESSEQUIBO and will aggressively pursue oil development, President Ali tells BBC. Now for the news in detail. Head of the Major Crimes Unit of the Guyana Police Force, Michel Caesar, was detained by U.S. authorities while traveling through America. This development comes a few months after yet another top Guyanese security official was similarly detained and questioned by officials at a U.S. airport. Here is Vanu Manikchan with the details.
On Thursday, reports surfaced that head of the Guyana Police Force's Major Crimes Unit, Superintendent Michel Caesar, had been detained and questioned for several hours on Tuesday by U.S. law enforcement at the John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York. At the time, Caesar was reportedly returning from a training program in India. Head of the police force's communications unit, Mark Ramatar, when asked about the matter, would only confirm that Caesar is currently on vacation leave in the U.S. However, addressing the matter at a press conference on Thursday afternoon, Vice President Dr. Bart Jagdeo confirmed the report and indicated that the Guyana Police Force is looking into the matter.
A report was made to the superior officer or the senior officer of that policeman. So that will engage the leadership of the police force, and that's where the matter will be dealt with. Personally, I did not seek to find out what it related to because that should be dealt with by the police force. The United States of America will not tell us what their questions are, why they question people, because that's immigration matter. They don't, as a matter of policy, they don't release why visas are withdrawn or denied. So a lot of people have had visas withdrawn or denied, but they will not share that information that is they keep that information to themselves.
Nevertheless, the Vice President assured that if there are confirmed reports of any government official committing illegalities, then they would be dealt with appropriately.
If there is any criminality on the part of anyone in government, then once the information is shared with us formally by the U.S. government, there'll be action taken against people. But we can't go on the basis of allegations and all of that. We can't run around based on conjectures and rumors. So, but let me assure you that if there is any information that's shared about criminality on the part of anyone, including police officers, that they will face the full consequences of the law. We made it clear. Anyone that this party, because at one stage, people were claiming that they were beholden, that the party is beholden to certain individuals in this country, and therefore will defend them at any cost, even if they commit illegality. And I've made that clear, that the party is bigger than any individual, and that nobody should harbor a modicum of doubt as to how we will act in case that there are verified cases of illegality, that we will act in a manner consistent with the law.
This incident comes almost 1 year after the then Permanent Secretary of the Home Affairs Ministry, May Thomas Mirabox, was detained by U.S. authorities at the Miami International Airport. At the time in April 2023, Thomas Mirabaux was transiting in the U.S. on the way to China on official government duties. Following the detention, her U.S. visa was revoked, thus forcing her to reroute or return to Guyana. Unlike her situation, however, it was reported that Caesar was subsequently released after his detention and allowed entry into the U.S. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo has defended government's move to import foreign workers, contending that this course is needed in order to meet severe labor shortages in certain sectors. In fact, it was recently disclosed that the government will be recruiting healthcare workers from Bangladesh. But Jagdeo made it clear that the remuneration packages for foreign laborers in the public sector will not exceed that being received by public servants. Here's what he had to say on the issue.
We've said over and over, and here at this press conference, I have repeated this, that in some areas we are allowing labor to come in to work. We pointed out that we are allowing the Chinese to bring in their labor for the bridge. And they said they were going to bring people from Bangladesh to work there because they work with them at building the stadium in Qatar for the World Cup, the same company that was working there. We allow others to bring in labor because we have a labor shortage in Region 4 particularly for some types of labor. And if we want these projects to be completed, the bridge, the highways, etc., we have to do that. We've said before that we're building 12 new hospitals. We are going to rehabilitate all the other hospitals. We need specialist doctors. We need more doctors. We need nurses. We already have a shortage of nurses. Our nurses are leaving to other countries. And they're getting a significantly higher rate, pay in some countries like the UK, etc., but they don't train. So we have to recruit people to come and work in these hospitals to make sure our people get the best quality care. We can't just build the hospitals and leave them there without staff. So we've been bringing in, the president has spoken with Cuba too. We've been bringing in many people from Cuba for the private sector, not we, but the private sector has been recruiting these people, and also from other countries. So the Bangladeshis are no different. Well, I can say to you that any person who is recruited from abroad to work in the public sector, because a lot of these are not coming to work necessarily in the public sector, but if they come to work in the public sector, their conditions of service will be no better than what the Guyanese get. It will be comparable to what our people get for the particular skill.
President Dr. Irfaan Ali, during site visits, has committed to addressing issues affecting fisherfolk of Georgetown and Region 5, particularly as it relates to wharf facilities. Find out more in this Trishelle Sobers report.
President Dr. Irfaan Ali has committed to explore the possibility of building a wharf facility for the members of the Three-Door Fishermen's Cooperative Society in Region 5, Mahipauls. The head of state made this commitment on Wednesday during an engagement with fisherfolk whereby the president of the Co-op Society requested that the wharf be built. Additionally, the head of state also promised to have a shed and the tarmac rehabilitated and further instruct the regional engineer to work with the fisherfolk and come up with an estimate for the upgrades. Meanwhile, rehabilitation works on the Meadowbank Wharf, East Bank, Demerara, will gradually continue as efforts are being made to improve the facility structure. This commitment was made by President Dr. Irfaan Ali on Thursday during an impromptu visit to the location to experience firsthand the challenges faced by the stakeholders at the wharf. In response, the head of state instructed the Minister of Agriculture and his team to complete a design for the facility to ensure a conducive working environment for the 42 fishermen and several vendors and other stakeholders who utilize the wharf. This process is expected to be completed within 2 weeks' time, so a contract for works can be tendered.
Like we did a lot of improvements on the last thing. Yeah. We got to put in more lights. Those chefs are coming right through, and we gotta do this wharf. To do the design, put in some more lights, to do the design for the wharf. So within, I would say within 4 weeks, we'll go to tender for the wharf.
According to President Ali, the wharf services residents of the city and surrounding communities with wholesome and retail fish and other products, and as a result, their development is priority. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
The Environmental Protection Agency's order for rice farmers to desist from burning their fields, a crucial practice in the cultivation of this important crop, is grounded in ignorance, says Lika Rambridge, president of the Rice Producers Association. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichaels has the details.
For a majority of farmers in Guyana, the burning of rice fields is a critical aspect of rice cultivation. It is done in order to prepare the soil for another crop. While other methods are available, burning is less time-consuming and labor-intensive, farmers contend. In fact, they also explain that burning helps to better control weeds and pests. But the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has ordered rice farmers to desist from this practice. In a notice published on March 27, the EPA said it is imperative that farmers discontinue burning practices since burning may cause wildfires. According to the EPA, farmers should transition to alternative methods of field management, including manual removal or plowing the field. The EPA has also outlined that though burning may return some mineral elements to the soil, it results in the loss of most organic material and nutritional content of rice straw. Moreover, it said, repetitive burning in specific locations can damage the soil layers, particularly surface layers, impacting its physical and chemical properties. The EPA also argued that burning releases significant air pollutants such as particulate and specified some of them. The agency noted that the release of such particulates can adversely affect human health by impairing lung function, exacerbating respiratory diseases, and causing discomfort for individuals with allergies. However, rice farmers are not in agreement with the EPA and are pushing back.
Definitely EPA want us to stop plant rice, but without burning the field, we can't go back in the field. How you go prepare the land? There's no way that you can prepare land without burning.
Meanwhile, President of the Rice Producers Association, Lika Rambridge, says the EPA order is grounded in ignorance.
Firstly, I want to say that the EPA has to take into consideration that the rice industry has been here for over 120 years old. And Guyana has been exporting rice for over 105 years. And we have been burning straw since the inception of this industry. While I understand that the burning of the straw is not good for the environment, but you have in huge countries that have been producing rice thousands of years, been burning straw. India, which is one of the largest exporters of rice in this world, has been burning straw. It's unacceptable, and we can't sit as a farmer representative and say that it's acceptable. It is not acceptable, and we would not accept that. Give a solution to your problem that you're facing with, and set example for those who are destroying the ecosystem and those who are burning more than what we are doing. Deal with them first.
The EPA's advisory did not refer to any possible penalties for persons who do not adhere to its instruction. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, the Hydromet office has predicted that the current dry spell will now persist until the end of April this year. It was in April 2023 that the Hydromet office announced that Guyana would experience drought from July onwards. The dry spell was initially predicted to end in March of this year, but the drier wetting conditions will now persist until next month end. El Niño and La Niña are climate patterns in the Pacific Ocean that can affect weather worldwide, with El Niño being characterized by warmer temperatures and less rainfall, and La Niña denoted by cooler temperatures and heavier rainfalls. Climatologist Komal Diram had explained that in 2022, Guyana was in the La Nina phase, and this was reflected by the massive countrywide flooding caused by heavy and consistent rainfall within all administrative regions. Former Chancellor of the Judiciary of Guyana, Justice Désirée Bernard, has died. Justice Bernard had also served as Chief Justice and as a Justice of the Caribbean Court of Justice. President Dr. Irfinali has since said that her remarkable career has left an indelible mark on the region's legal landscape. Coming up, 11 homeless after fire flattens Angoy's Avenue houses, and sergeant struck, killed by truck during GDF's annual walk along highway.
Fitness enthusiasts, the KARES CrossFit Caribbean Championships is here. Witness the intense rivalry and competition over 2 days beginning on Saturday, April 6th in the pool at the National Aquatic Center and ending on Sunday, April 7th on the National Park tarmac from 13 hours. The performances will be over the top with the athletes from the Netherlands, the USA, the United Kingdom, the Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, pushing for more than $4.6 million in cash. Get your tickets now from Fitness Express, Gizmos and Gadgets, Lotus Hardware and KARES CrossFit Gym. It's KARES CrossFit Caribbean Championships on April 6 and 7 in Georgetown. Compliments of Bumblebee Foods, Lucozade, Assyria, Fitness Express, Builders Yumby Yard, Lotus Hardware and Yellow Mine Hydraulic Supplies.
I bet for the excitement. I bet for the thrill. I bet to win with I Bet Supreme. Get a $1,000 welcome bonus when you sign up. Top up and cash out with MMG. Visit ibetgamesur.com or your nearest iBet location.
Are you looking for an exciting Easter? Look no further than Digicel stores for incredible savings and a free Easter surprise. This Easter, Digicel is offering an extravagant deal. Purchase the Samsung A05 for just $21,000 or the Samsung A24 for only $39,500 and receive a free kite with your purchase. Make this Easter a memorable one. Visit a Digicel store today and crack open these amazing deals. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Mima Decor, stock the finest in the country. Both ceramic and porcelain, tiles and chandeliers you'll see while you shop around stress-free. Well-trained staff and warming halls make your shopping smooth and calm, providing you with quality to match your style that's so unique. Mima Decor.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. President Dr. Irfinali, during a recently broadcast BBC Hard Talk program with Stephen Shakur, has shut down a number of false narratives regarding Guyana's economic boom and its oil bonanza, as well as its ability to protect and defend its territorial integrity. The Guyanese head of state made it clear that should any action be taken to destabilize the country, the government stands ready to call upon every available force to aid in its protection. President Ali was also forced to defend Guyana's oil and gas production against the interviewer's line of questioning and efforts to paint Guyana as a major contributor to global warming. Let's have a look.
This land, Guyana, was settled in 1899. Our boundaries were settled. Venezuela participated in the settlement of the boundaries.
The Venezuelans say that was a colonial agreement, illegitimate, and it is indeed true to say that right now the International Court of Justice is considering the legitimacy of Venezuela's claim.
No. I'll come to what the ICJ is considering. In 1899, Venezuela accepted the boundaries. The country Venezuela accepted the boundaries. They even enacted local laws that accepted the boundaries. They participated with Guyana and Brazil in establishing the tri-marker point, in setting out the poles for this, with the surveyors on the boundary. So Venezuela participated fully. When we were about to become independent, they raised a controversy. That controversy that they raised is what is before the ICJ.
With the greatest respect, we could spend the next hour talking about the International Court of Justice and the case, but I don't want to do that. I just want to talk about practical realities. The reality is that Maduro organized a referendum last year in Venezuela, which overwhelmingly backed the idea that Venezuela should reincorporate, or incorporate, as you would put it, this territory into the Venezuelan state. If that were to happen, you would lose your rights to drill and produce oil and gas offshore off the coast of Essequibo.
Well, first of all, we will not allow that to happen. And that is why we are before the ICJ, because we believe in the international rule of law. We are a peaceful country. We are a democratic country. We believe in regional stability, and we are before the ICJ.
Sure, but with the greatest respect, you're also a country with a military and security force of, what, 4,000 men at best. Venezuela can call upon 150,000 men.
I'm coming to that. So, but before that, I must establish the point that our first line of defense has always been diplomacy, and we respect the international law and the outcome of the court, the ICJ. However, we recognize that we are dealing with a neighbor that is aggressive, that has made certain threats, and we are investing in our military. We're investing in the technology of our military. We're investing in infrastructure. But more than that, we have aligned ourselves with countries and a region that is on the side of Guyana. We have made it very clear that if there is any breach in our territorial space, if there is any action by anyone to destabilize our country and to invade in any way, shape, or form, that we will call upon every force and every friend to help us and to work with us to protect our territorial integrity.
Why did Guyana give Exxon such an extraordinarily sweet deal, which gives them an unprecedented amount of economic gain from their work here?
Well, first of all, this agreement was made under the last government.
You have not changed it, Mr. President.
Yes, no, and I'm coming to that, because there is something called sanctity of contract. What message are we going to send to international investors if you have a contract and then you just change the contract?
Simple question. Is Guyana being exploited right now by Exxon?
I'll come to your
Simple question.
I wouldn't say that we're being exploited by Exxon. We signed an agreement as a country with Exxon. We cannot unilaterally change that agreement. What we committed ourselves to do as the new government is to ensure that no new PSA would have those similar terms. And we've already changed the PSA to be more balanced in terms of giving the country the best possible revenue, but more importantly, in ensuring that we don't also create a situation where investment in the sector is curtailed because of the PSA.
How can you tell the people of your own country, many of them living in poverty, that this deal that you are currently operating under to get the oil and gas out of the ground is a good deal for them?
Did I say it's a good deal? I said that the deal was heavily skewed to Exxon. We have said this publicly. You're not getting it. We have said that the deal was heavily skewed to Exxon. But we cannot unilaterally change the agreement that the last government signed.
It is expected that there will be $150 billion worth of oil and gas extracted off your coast. It's an extraordinary figure. But think of it in practical terms. That means, according to many experts, more than 2 billion tons of carbon emissions will come from your seabed, from those reserves, and be released into the atmosphere. I don't know if you, as a head of state, went to the COP in Dubai.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Do you know that Guyana has a forest forever that is the size of England and Scotland combined? A forest that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon. a forest that we have kept alive, a forest that we have kept alive.
Does that give you the right? Does that give you the right to release all of this carbon?
Does that give you the right to lecture us on climate change? I am going to lecture you on climate change because we have kept this forest alive that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon that you enjoy, that the world enjoy, that you don't pay us for, that you don't value, that you don't see a value in, that the people of Guyana has kept alive. Guess what? We have the lowest deforestation rate in the world. And guess what? Even with our greatest exploration of the oil and gas resource we have now, we will still be net zero. Guyana will still be net zero. With all our exploration, we'll still be net zero. No,
powerful words, Mr. President. But
I am not completed as yet. I am not finished as yet. I am just not finished as yet. Because this is the hypocrisy that exists in the world. The world in the last 50 years has lost 65% of all its biodiversity. We have kept our biodiversity. Are you valuing it? Are you ready to pay for it? When is the developed world going to pay for it? Or are you in the pockets? Are you in the pockets of those who have damaged the environment?
Executive member of the People's National Congress Reform, Roysdale Forde, has announced that he will be running for leadership of the PNCR against incumbent leader Aubrey Norton. This was followed by a declaration from another PNCR executive, Ganesh Mahipal, who also expressed interest in running for the party's leadership post. Vanu Manikchan tells us more.
On Thursday, Roysdale Forde launched his campaign to run for the leadership post of the PNCR, the leading party in the APNU majority opposition. It was previously announced that the PNCR Biennial Delegates Congress would be held before August 2024. While no date has been set, Forde believes that there is a short time between the Congress and the upcoming 2025 elections and consequently rolled out a regroup, refocus and rebuild plan for the party.
I hereby announce that I am making myself available for nomination to contest for the position of leader of the People's National Congress Reform. I've traveled to many communities across Guyana and met with party comrades and supporters of the coalition who are demanding an approach that not only holds the People's Progressive Party accountable, but also an approach that imbues hope in the hearts and minds of the Guyanese people throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. An approach that shows unity, strength, collectivism, integrity, and patriotism as we work together to build our strong future together. To build this future, we must regroup, refocus, and rebuild. I call on our members and supporters to come on this journey with me, to regroup, refocus, and rebuild as we work to make our party stronger than ever. Join me, please, as we work together to unite the PNCR and rally the coalition to victory in 2025.
At his campaign launch, Forde was surrounded by several top PNCR members, including current members of parliament. Meanwhile, shortly after Forde's announcement on Thursday, another executive member, Ganesh Mahipal, while sitting alongside incumbent PNCR leader Aubrey Norton at the party's weekly press conference, also indicated his interest in running for the leadership post.
I believe that I am aptly qualified to run for leader of this party. I believe I satisfy all the requirements, and I believe I am very experienced when it comes to the party's structure and its workings. And if groups from this People's National Congress Reform see me fit and they nominate me for such a position, I will take into serious consideration their nomination and make a decision at the right time.
Forde and Mahipal would first need to be nominated by the PNCR's membership to challenge Norton for the PNCR leadership. On the other hand, Norton is confident that he is the man for the job.
A lot of party members speak to me, and there are certain things they are looking for in the leader at this stage. One of them is the PPP must have nothing on you so that they can use it to their advantage. You must not be involved in any oil scam, or there's any document left in the government drawers that can be used to control you. And I'm one of the persons who stand out as somebody whose integrity is intact and the government has nothing on me. I believe that as a political party, our membership is very politically intelligent.
Norton was elected PNCR leader in December 2021 after defeating Dr. Richard Van West-Charles and Joseph Harmon. Reporting for The Evening News, Vanu Manik-Chand.
Children across the country are currently engaged in government-sponsored kite-making activities in preparation for the Easter holidays. Let's hear from Michael Henry on Minister of Public Affairs Kwame McCoy's recent visit to one of the workshops in Georgetown.
Children across the East Rheinveld, Georgetown area have participated in a two-day kite-making workshop that started on Wednesday as the Easter holidays get underway. Minister Kwame McCoy on Wednesday visited the workshop to interact with the participants.
And my upbringing right in this community in Avocado Square reminds me that the best experience for Easter was when we were able to put together our kites and then fly our kites, and we take good care of them because it belonged to us and we put in all of the labor. So we wanted our children across Guyana to be able to have the experience of making kites, of flying kites, but also teaching them too about the significance of kite and kite flying.
McCoy also announced that the kite flying experience would also serve as a competition for the youngsters.
I'm seeing a few kites already in shape there in terms of the paper and stuff like that, frills. And you know this is all part of a competition too. So you will get prizes for the best production in terms of kites, those who make the best kites. So I just wanted to say to you that we are here continuously to work with you in the community, in every part of this country, to be able to get our children the best experiences and to support you, your education and other endeavors.
Minister McCoy further stated that this initiative, a collaborative effort among various government ministries, aims to engage students at different levels and keep them occupied productively.
It is by giving our children exposures at various levels that keeps them well occupied and their energies channeled towards productive means that we will be able to get the best boys and girls. And you can be like me.
Similar kite-making workshops are also ongoing at North and South Sophia, Georgetown and Mocha on the east bank of the Demerara and along the Suzaik Highway. I am Michael Henry, reporting for The Evening News.
11 people are now homeless after fire yesterday destroyed 2 houses at Angois Avenue, New Amsterdam Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine. Andrew Carmichael reports that the fire service has determined that the victims were allegedly stealing electricity from the power company, and this is suspected to have led to the fire.
Randolph Machit said at around 8:30 on Wednesday he was in his Angois Avenue home in his hammock while his wife was sitting in a chair when he heard a crackling sound. Upon investigating, he discovered the house on fire.
When I run upstairs, the whole house catch fire. All the sofas were on fire. And that was it. By the time I run and tell me wife, he also for a bucket of water. But the water even couldn't do because the fire take place so fast. When I tell you so fast, that we couldn't really save nothing.
The New Amsterdam Fire Service was contacted, but by the time the firefighters arrived at the scene, the lot 671 and 672 houses were already destroyed. According to Machit, he was occupying lot 671 two-bedroom wooden house with his wife, son, daughter-in-law and 3 grandchildren. He said his daughter and the husband and their 2 children were occupying lot 672, which was situated behind his house. Machit, a carpenter, said by the time the Guyana Fire Service arrived, the houses were already flattened.
The house is like 20 by 15 and was a 2-story anyway. and we had a little business doing, and we lost everything we lost. And they lost also, that's my daughter, they lost also everything. They had to pick up everything and run, nobody can save nothing. The fire is so fast.
The carpenter, who also operates a small grocery shop from his home, said the fire also destroyed his monetary savings.
Well, the next move, I don't know as yet, at least we gotta seek a little help because everything we little money we had, couldn't even save that as a. So right now we like a bakery right now.
Meanwhile, Divisional Fire Officer Cortland Harry said the fire was caused as a result of persons stealing electricity.
We received a call 8:39. We arrived there 8:43 with 3 appliances. All 3 went into operation. We bring the fire under control and subsequently it was extinguished. After current investigation, we discovered 11 persons live homeless. Cause of fire, well, you know the normal thing. People stealing electricity. And the cause, whatever took place there.
What advice would you give to persons, given that given the current El Niño season that we're experiencing, as well as persons who might be engaging in electricity theft?
We can't stop electricity theft. But at presently we are advising the general public in the whole to desist from lighting fires, grass, rubbish, whatever it is, because of this dry weather season.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Deslin Nicholson, a Guyana Defense Force sergeant, was last night struck down and killed by a motor lorry along the Suzuki-Linden Highway in the vicinity of Maduwini during the Army's annual 30 km walk. The 33-year-old, who hails from number 30 village, West Coast Berbice, was stationed at Camp Stevenson at Timeri. The sergeant, along with 2 of her colleagues, were reportedly walking 3 abreast along the highway when the truck crashed into them at around 2100 hours. The truck driver, a 26-year-old man, told investigators that he was proceeding south along the eastern side of the road when he suddenly saw the trio, but at the time he did not know they were soldiers. In fact, the driver claimed that the area was very dark due to the absence of streetlights. Upon suddenly noticing the pedestrians, the truck driver said he applied brakes, but despite his best efforts, a collision occurred and the 3 persons fell onto the road surface. The truck driver exited his vehicle to render assistance, and it was then that he realized the pedestrians were GDF ranks. However, he claimed that at the time they were not wearing any reflective vests, nor were they equipped with other warning appliances. Nevertheless, the 3 officers were rushed to the Diamond Diagnostic Center, where Nicholson was pronounced dead and the other 2 ranks were treated and sent away. A breathalyzer test was conducted on the truck driver, and no trace of alcohol was found in his system. He remains in custody, assisting with the investigation. A GDF spokesperson has since revealed that based on standard operating procedures, a board of inquiry into the incident is mandated. At the time, it is unclear if the GDF notified the police traffic department of the activity and if arrangements were made to have police escorts present. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Damrar Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Friday, March 29, 2024 at 6:30 for 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 6 hours on Friday, March 29, 2024, also for 1.5 hours.
Lights at Ministry of Education sport ground to be upgraded, and lots of positives from FIFA series Shabazz. Details of these stories coming up in the Sportscast sponsored by McCorp.
Need quality electrical or hardware supplies for domestic, commercial, and industrial usage? Visit SBR Enterprise. We stock a wide variety of tools, transformers, connectors, cables, line hardware, and control products at competitive prices. Check us out for brands such as Square D, Eaton, Fluke, Klein, and 3M. We are located at 45 Brick Dam, Georgetown, or call us on 223-5699, 223-5687, or WhatsApp 639-7193. SBR Enterprise, your single source for quality electrical products.
Are you looking for an exciting Easter? Look no further than Digicel stores for incredible savings and a free Easter surprise. This Easter, Digicel is offering an extravagant deal. Purchase the Samsung A05 for just $21,000 or the Samsung A24 for only $39,500 and receive a free kite with your purchase. Make this Easter a memorable one. Visit a Digicel store today and crack open these amazing deals. Digicel, the network for everyone.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
I bet for the excitement. I bet for the thrill. I bet to win with I Bet Supreme. Get a $1,000 welcome bonus when you sign up. Top up and cash out with MMG. Visit IBetGamesUR.com or your nearest iBet location.
ExxonMobil and the ExxonMobil Foundation have invested nearly $6 billion in communities across the country. And we're just getting started. From STEM education and youth sports programs to workforce training and community development projects, we're committed to making sure the benefits of Guyana's growing oil and gas industry reach as many Guyanese as possible. What can we do for your community? Learn more at exxonmobil.com/Guyana.